Hello and welcome to Fantasy Baseball Today. It is June 15th. I am Chris Towers here with Scott White. Frank Stample cannot join us. He climbed a street light during the New York Knicks NBA Finals celebration, and he cannot get down. He was stuck dangling on 42nd and 5th. We'll get a ladder for you, Frank. No, congratulations to Frank and everyone in the New York City area, except for like 12 Nets fans, I guess, for the Knicks NBA Finals championship victory. That was a lot of fun. Scott, did you watch the game?
No.
All right. Great series.
I found out this afternoon that the Knicks won, and I was like, oh, the Knicks won. That's cool.
I was not exactly top of mind. Did you watch any World Cup?
Come on.
Did you watch baseball?
Real. I watched some baseball.
All right,
yeah.
All right.
There's always some baseball going on in my house. My boys
your kids
obsessed.
love baseball.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk baseball on today's episode of Fantasy Baseball Today. And unfortunately, we lost another couple of big names, including a legitimate superstar in Jose Ramirez, to the hamate bone epidemic that has been sweeping Major League Baseball. Spencer Strider is dealing with an elbow injury. We've got more prospect promotions to talk about. Plus, Tarik Skubal made his return. But first, let's get into the players of the night, brought to you by Stitch Fix. If you're like me and clothes shopping just isn't your thing, Stitch Fix has you covered. Get $20 off your first order at stitchfix.com/baseball. Oh, sorry. Frank said he was going to hit a button so we could do one of the little drops, but he didn't do it. So I just pretend you heard Susan saying, oh my goodness gracious, Scott. Hit us with your oh my goodness gracious player of the weekend.
I'm glad you didn't say hit me with my oh my goodness gracious, because nobody likes the sound of me saying that, even though it's its own drop. I am going to talk about a guy who we've talked about very little this year, but judging by the numbers, that seems like a mistake. It's Willson Contreras, who had a huge game on Sunday, went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, up to 16 on the year. For the month of June, he's batting .390 with 5 home runs. That's just in June. But really for the year now, in addition to those 16 home runs, Willson Contreras, .304 batting average, .966 OPS, which is some it's godlike production, frankly. I mean, a .966 OPS in this day and age, they should be throwing parades for this guy. And yet he's having a hard time climbing into my top 12 at first base rest of season, which is, partly because so many players at that position have exceeded expectations or have so drastically underperformed that, but they're just higher stature players, such high stature players that they can only fall so far, like Pete Alonso. I'm thinking, I guess Pete Alonso's come pretty far in correcting the stats, and Tyler Soderstrom started to come around too, and the Michael Busch types have already dropped behind Willson Contreras, I think, pretty clearly. But you have Christian Walker, who's had a good year. It's just been a crowded group at first base, but I think Willson Contreras is demanding to be moved up with those numbers I just read off. Now, what's he doing differently? Honestly, it seems like he's taking advantage of his new environment here.
28% pulled air rate, by far the highest of his career.
By far the highest of his career. And honestly, this was my concern about Willson Contreras going to Boston. Is it's like, okay, right-handed hitter with the Green Monster. That seems like a good thing normally, but he's a guy whose power has generally been to the opposite field, and it's there's a lot of wasted power to right field at Fenway Park. But no, he has pretty much, I mean, for the typical Willson Contreras season, that's more than double that pull air rate. And so he's wearing out the Green Monster at home. That's the big reason why his batting average is so high. It's coming into this game, 327 at home versus 267 on the road. 267, pretty typical for Willson Contreras, but that all those the added BABIP from hitting balls off the green monster of Fenway is really doing a lot to help his overall stat line. The power production is great. I mean, pulling the ball in the air more generally leads to more power, more home runs. So, I guess I'm mostly buying into it. And like I said, Willson Contreras needs to move up.
It is hard to get him in the top 12 because, like, in a points league, I'm not taking Willson Contreras over Yandy Diaz, right?
Right. Who's also been great.
Yeah, he's been amazing. You could talk about like Josh Naylor and Rafael Devers, but obviously those guys have the track record that I think you give them a little more benefit of the doubt here. Christian Walker has been really good himself, and Miguel Vargas is having a breakout season of his own, and Tyler Soderstrom, like you said, has started to figure it out. So it's like, even I would like to move Willson Contreras up, but I think I'm stuck at like 15 right now.
Yeah, I think I can move him past Devers. Devers is somebody who keeps sinking in my rankings. And Walker, I mean, at this point, Contreras is
better, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's surpassed him. Probably time to move him ahead of Josh Naylor, too. I mean, Naylor's good. The steals are going a long way to keeping his head above water in fantasy. But I mean, Contreras, like I said, I'm mostly buying into it. He's probably overachieving some, but like that underlying change of the pull air rate in a park that's well suited for it, I think it's worked pretty well.
All right. Oh my goodness gracious, player of the weekend. I mean, I think it was the best start by any pitcher this season, and that's underselling it. Jacob Misiorowski.
Yeah, probably should have led with it.
1 hit shutout, struck out 15 on only 95 pitches in a complete game, 25 whiffs, 23 of them on the 4-seam fastball. His 4-seam fastball usage in this start was 73%, because why not if they can't hit it like that? His velocity was up 1.6 miles per hour. He averaged 101.7. He had 5 different strikeouts on pitches at least 103 miles an hour, I believe. 58 fastballs were 100 plus miles per hour. He hit 104 in the 9th inning. I mean, we have never seen anything like Jacob Misiorowski. I'm not saying he is the best pitcher in baseball. Might be. I'm not saying he's the best pitcher of all time. Probably isn't, but but I am saying we have never seen someone throw as hard as Jacob Misiorowski as a starting pitcher. I feel very confident saying that. I don't care who you want to throw out there, you old heads with Nolan Ryan. He wasn't throwing 104 in the 9th inning. I'm sorry.
Well, here's a stat that puts it into perspective. JJ Cooper of Baseball America tweeted out this stat. So Misiorowski did not have a fastball below 102, rounding to the nearest full mile per hour. He didn't have a fastball below 102 in this contest. Only 9 starting pitchers, non-openers, true starting pitchers, only 9 starting pitchers have even touched 102 since 2008. So 19 seasons.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Have even touched 102, and Misiorowski didn't have a fastball lower than 102 in this start. So yes, it is unprecedented velocity.
It's we talked last week about whether Christopher Sanchez has eclipsed Paul Skeens as the number 1 pitcher in fantasy. I'm there. I just think the volume gap is so big between the two of them, if nothing else. Maybe you give Skeens a per inning edge. Even that I think is iffy at this point, but the volume gap is so huge. But man, Misiorowski, I mean, he's putting himself in that discussion, at least. It's been an absolutely remarkable season. We've never seen anything like it. 8 starts since the beginning of May. He's given up 1 earned run with 80 strikeouts to 9 walks in 54 1/3 innings. It's just absolutely ridiculous what this guy's doing right now. And look, I hear he can't stay healthy doing this, but you know what, man? If you can hit 105, but you're sitting 100, like, is that much concerning than being able to hit 100 but sitting 96? I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea what the answer to that question is.
Probably.
I have no idea.
It's probably. I mean, like I think.
But everybody's different.
Yeah, he could be a freak of nature, but
I mean, he clearly is.
We won't know that until yes, he clearly is, but in that particular way, and in the way Nolan Ryan was a freak of nature, where he could max out volume like that and remain incredibly durable. We won't know until it is behind us if he is or
2050 or so, based on how long Nolan Ryan's career went.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be Nolan Ryan because nobody is, but in that way. But you have to, I think, and I'm not singling out Misiorowski here. Anytime we're salivating over a pitcher's velocity, you have to anticipate it's probably going to be short-lived. It's just reality. And I'm not saying sell high on Misiorowski while you can. Short-lived could mean 3 to 5 years, you know? Like,
it took a while for Jacob DeGrom.
While he's healthy, while he's healthy, I think we have to consider Misiorowski the top pitcher in fantasy. It's possible the control problems could resurface that were pretty much always there prior to this year. But we're almost halfway through the season now, and there's been no signs of him. In fact,
he's getting better. In fact,
incredible in terms of control. So. Yeah, well, he's healthy, and hopefully he stays healthy for a long time. I think it's time to consider Misiorowski the top pitcher in fantasy. I'm sure on the trade market, that's the kind of premium he's going to command.
All right, one more before we move on. The Las Vegas series wrapped up with the Rockies dropping a 23-9 win over the Athletics on Sunday, ending the A's 6-game stint in Vegas. There were 2 games in that series, or across the 2 series, that had at least 29 runs scored. There hadn't been any games in MLB this season with more than 25 runs scored. There were 35 homers hit across the 6 games in Las Vegas. 17 runs per game on average, compared to 11 runs per game at Coors Field this season. This is my favorite stat. 7 homers across the 6 games traveled at least 450 feet. No other ballpark this season has more than 5 homers that have traveled 450 feet. You know what my theory is? Someone forgot to put the balls in the humidor before this series in Vegas, because this was ridiculous. Even for there were 5.8 homers per game hit on average in this series. For the season in Las Vegas with the AAA team, there have been 2.4 homers per game, which is a crazy number, to be clear. This was wild. Willie Castro had 4 hits, including 2 home runs on Sunday. Last 15 games, he's hitting .311 with 3 homers, 2 steals. He's 20% rostered, eligible everywhere except for catcher. Hunter Goodman went hitless Friday and Saturday, then followed up with 5 hits, 2 homers, 4 RBI, 3 runs on Sunday. He's up to 20 homers on the season, only 11 short of last year's total in 78 fewer games. And look, I don't, obviously I think sitting, in the long run, when they get to Las Vegas with their, it'll be a fully indoor stadium, it will not be this extreme. They will be playing in a climate controlled environment, so the heat won't be as much of a factor. The humidity will at least be slightly different. I genuinely don't think they had the balls in the humidor. The series was so ridiculous, and the balls were carrying so crazy. But they'll have that. But I do think, if you're the A's and you're looking at this, I think you gotta bump those fences back, whatever you were planning on in that ballpark. Bump them back 5 or 10 feet just to make sure. Because this could be an absolutely ridiculous situation.
I actually looked into the dimensions of the stadium.
The one they're playing in.
No, the one they're building. Yeah.
Okay. Because the thing about the stadium they were playing in just now, it's a big stadium. It's 340 down the line, 380 to the power alleys. It's not a small field.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting an answer from AI and I can't verify it. So I don't even know that we can trust it because it may just be short shorting to what the current stadium is there, because it's basically the same numbers you just gave: 340 down the lines, 380 in the gaps, 415 to center. So I don't know. Maybe I don't have a good answer for that, but it does make a big difference that it's going to be climate controlled. So I don't think we're going to see this.
Not this, but I think it's going to play.
It's going to play well.
I think it's going to play very hitter friendly whenever they end up there, which 2028 season is the plan. And that's it. Thank you to Stitch Fix for sponsoring today's Players of the Night. Stitch Fix takes the hassle out of clothes shopping. Just take a quick style quiz, share your size, your vibe, and your budget, and you will be matched with a real human stylist who will send you a fix box with clothes that fit and make sense for your life. Get started today at stitchfix.com/baseball for $20 off your first order. That's stitchfix.com/baseball. Like and subscribe us on YouTube, and we will be right back after this break.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
We're back. We've been having fun talking about players hitting the ball far and Jacob Misiorowski throwing the ball hard, and now it's time for some bad news. Let's get to the news and notes for this weekend. And unfortunately, Jose Ramirez was diagnosed with a left hamate bone fracture he suffered on a swing on Saturday. And Vinnie Pasquantino underwent surgery Sunday to remove a fractured hamate bone in his right hand. Both are likely looking at 4 to 6 week timelines. Now, Jose Ramirez has had a hamate bone fracture in his past. Presumably it was in his right hand the previous time, because I believe the way this works is they just take the little hook of your hamate bone out when you fracture it. You don't need it. It's a vestigial. So when that happened in 2019, he was back in almost 4 weeks exactly. You look at Francisco Lindor and Corbin Carroll, they were back. I think Carroll was back in games around 28 days. Lindor was 34. That was not including, that was just going back to spring training games, so you can add a couple days there. Andrew Vaughn was back in 35 days. So you could see these guys back in 5 weeks. And then you have Jackson Holliday, who didn't return to the majors until 66 days after he fractured his hamate bone. So I think that's the buffer you're looking at. I think you expect something like 5 to 6 weeks. Could be 4, could be 8, but that's the range you're looking at.
Look, we're like a month away from the All-Star break at this point. So
almost exactly, yeah.
I can't imagine any of them's going to be back before then, either of them, Pasquantino or Jose Ramirez, to the extent we even care about Pasquantino anymore, because as we just talked about, first base pretty loaded.
It might honestly be a little bit of a blessing in disguise for you if you have Pasquantino, because he's been such a drag that you can finally definitely bench him, obviously, but maybe even drop him.
Yeah, in leagues that don't have an extra corner infield spot to fill, I think he's a pretty easy drop. He was on that article I wrote last week, the all over rostered team. Pasquantino was the first baseman. So I doubt that's going to remain true, him being over rostered with this news.
All right. Lots of interesting third base replacements right now. Let's rank them. Noelvi Marte, he's homered in each game this season, started 4 straight, has a 308 average.
Wait, what did you say? Noelvi Marte's done what? What has he done?
He homered in 3 straight games.
Okay, I thought you said he homered in every game this season.
No.
Okay.
I hope I didn't say that. That wouldn't have been true.
This weekend.
He homered in every game this weekend. He has started 4 straight. He's hitting 308 with 3 homers, 3 steals. I think he had 3 steals in 3 straight games, or a steal in 3 straight games. Earlier as well. He's up to a 1049 OPS, 50% rostered. He's at third base and outfield eligible. Royce Lewis had 2 multi-hit games this weekend, 2 home runs and a steal. He's got 3 homers since coming back 8 games ago. He's 50% rostered as well. Has added first base eligibility, needs 3 more for second base eligibility. Colt Emerson homered twice this weekend. He's up to 6 with an 876 OPS, 237 batting average. Underlying numbers aren't quite as good. He's third and short. Zach Galloff had a big week, 6 games, hit 9 hits, 3 homers, 8 runs, and a steal. He's hitting 276 with 9 homers, 7 steals, and 844 OPS. And Jordan Lawler was back with a 2-for-4 game with 2 steals on Friday. He started 2 of 3 games this weekend. How would you rank Noelvi Marte, Royce Lewis, Jordan Lawler, Colt Emerson, and Zach Galloff?
I would tell you, first of all, that Geloff is among my sleeper hitters for this week.
Okay.
Though, part of that is because his home numbers are so good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to keep this in mind when we're looking at splits for A's hitters moving forward, because those 6 games they just played in Las Vegas did a lot to inflate their home numbers.
Especially because, look, Sacramento's a very good home park, but we pointed this out last week. Sacramento is I think it's the second worst hitters ballpark in the PCL. It's the second best hitters ballpark in MLB. Las Vegas is the second best hitters park in the PCL. So a much better environment. And that's what, like 20% of their home games so far?
Did we point out that the Rockies on the road scored 23 runs? Like, they haven't scored half that many runs in a home game this year. Actually, they did twice. They scored. No. That was also an away game. Hang on. Yeah, they didn't score half that many runs in a home game this year, the Rockies. And so that, ridiculous environment. Geloff's numbers still good in Sacramento, but he's hit a third of his home runs this season this past week, so it inflates the numbers a little bit. And that's part of the reason why, if we're not playing the week-to-week game, we're just looking rest of season who I want. I'm probably going to go with Marte and Royce Lewis at the top. Now, obviously, Marte's got to stay in the lineup. He has the last 4, and I think as long as he keeps hitting, he will. But there's the most upside, the most to get excited about there. Lewis, we haven't seen him this hot in a couple years.
And he did tweak his batting stance when he went down to the minors. Was obviously incredible down to AAA. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah. And then I probably go Emerson, Geloff, Lawler. Not that I'm out on Lawler. I just think he has the most to prove.
All right. At first base, rank these guys: Jack Caglione, Bryce Eldridge, Royce Lewis, and Paul Goldschmidt. Very wide roster range there. Caglione and Eldridge both right around 75%. So you might have to pick between those two. Who are you taking?
Eldridge number 1. I think Eldridge is maybe he already has. Just looking at he's batting over 300 now. His OPS is over 900. I think he's turning into a monster before our eyes. He doesn't really have the strikeout issues that.
It's down to 20% now.
Yeah, it's all happening. He's first base eligible, at least in CBS. Still waiting for it in FBC and my Tout Wars League, unfortunately. But he's on his way to gaining first base eligibility there too. So Eldridge, easy number 1 for me. He needs to be picked up everywhere.
You know what? I will say, I think Caglione should be rostered everywhere. I know it's harder in a points league because he strikes out so much, but I think we're seeing real strides there. He's first base and outfield eligible. He is. Yeah,
he is.
So I agree that Eldridge should be first, but I do think Caglione has been doing a lot right. His launch angle has basically been improving ever since the start of the season. He's been hitting the ball hard all along. You can live with 28% strikeout rate if you hit the ball as hard as he does, provided you hit it in the air. And now he's starting to do that.
I was between him and Goldschmidt, who should be number 2. I think I can say easily that Goldschmidt is the most under-rostered of these 4.
I think so too.
Because 32%, while these other 2 are in the 70s.
He's behind Curtis Mead, and their situations were very similar. They were both not playing much against righties. Now they're basically playing every day, but Goldschmidt's been better.
Yeah. Goldschmidt has been everything you want Goldschmidt to be, honestly. If he had done this last year, he'd still be an everyday player for some team. And, right now he's an everyday player for the Yankees. I don't know if it'll last forever. Obviously, they have some players who are injured right now, but he's somebody who needs to be I'd be fine starting him in a shallow points league, even the way he's going right now. And then Lewis will be 4th. Royce Lewis will be 4th.
All right, we got a whole bunch more news to get to. Spencer Strider left Friday's start early after diminished velocity in the 4th inning. This was he was 96 in the first, 94 in the second, 92 in the third. I don't understand why he came out for the 4th after that. That was bizarre. His last pitch of the 4th or the 3rd inning, I think, was 90 miles an hour. And then he came out, faced one hitter in the 4th, averaged 89 miles an hour with his fastball. came out of the game, went on the IL with right elbow inflammation. He is going to go visit Dr. Keith Meister, who is the one who performed the internal brace procedure with him. It's not what you want to hear for Spencer Strider, unfortunately. That's a real bummer. Hunter Brown is rejoining the Astros Tuesday against the Tigers. Only one start this week for Brown. There was some like iffy, weird stuff in his fastball metrics on his rehab assignment, but you're starting Hunter Brown, right?
What was weird about his fastball metrics?
The induced vertical break, I think, was down like 4 inches in his first start. It was like 2.5 inches the second start. So,
Was that in the PCL?
I believe it was in the PCL. So it's possible that it was just environmental factors.
Yeah, because the velocity was.
Yeah, the velocity was fine. The only reason I flagged that was just because it's a shoulder injury. You worry about guys changing their mechanics.
Yeah, I would start Hunter Brown right away, unless it's a shallow league where you're just loaded at starting pitcher and can afford an abundance of caution. But Hunter Brown, I have him ranked in my top 12 rest of season, and pretty much have ever since he went on his rehab assignment.
All right, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has missed 2 straight with lower back tightness. Start or sit this week. I kind of feel like it might not be a bad idea to just take this as an excuse to sit him for a week.
I mean, if you have a good enough backup, sure. If you don't, I mean, it's the sort of thing where they could put him on the IL retroactively. Backs can be tricky. So first base, you probably have alternatives. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go with one of them. Yeah, sure. If you can make the space for him and he's available in your league as he is in many.
All right, Shohei Ohtani missed Friday's game with left knee inflammation, but was back in the lineup Saturday and Sunday. He homered on Saturday. That's a good sign. Garrett Crochet has had to clarify a lot about the nature of his injury. He clarified on Friday that his lat strain is asymptomatic. Remember, there was the quote that it was more complicated than we thought. It's the shoulder that's taking longer than expected to recover. He's likely out through the All-Star break at this point. Terry Francona said on Friday that Ellie De La Cruz's right hamstring strain is 90% healed. He said they have to basically hold Ellie back from playing when he's not 100% healthy. So I'm glad that they are doing that this year because they didn't last year. Hopefully he's back in the next 2 weeks. Francisco Lindor is expected to return before the end of June. Hunter Green will begin a rehab assignment Thursday in the Arizona Complex League. He's up to 80% rostered. He's going to be back in the next 30 days, assuming no setbacks. He should be 100% rostered. Hunter Green could be a top 12 pitcher once he's back. I mean, I think that's probably how we'll rank it once we see him.
Yeah.
Max Fried was cleared to throw off a mound this weekend, a big step in his recovery from that bone bruise in his elbow. Cole Reagans had a throwing session cut short on Friday and will undergo additional testing. I am kind of treating Cole Reagans at this point as anything I get from him the rest of the way is a bonus, because it does not seem to be going well in his recovery from this injury, unfortunately. Andres Munoz left Sunday's game with lower back tightness. At least it's not his arm, but this is another one where he's been struggling lately. Might take the opportunity to sit him. I put a couple of low dollar bids on Jose Ferrer just in leagues where I could use some saves.
I don't know that he'd be the obvious choice to step in. They have a deep bullpen.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of think if Munoz did go on the IL, it might be a committee situation between Ferrer and what's that one guy's name? Oh, I guess. Yeah, Brash is on the IL now.
Brash is on the
thinking
IL.
of Eduard Bazardo, though, has been good. Gabe Spire. They have a capable group there behind Munoz.
All right, Jose Soriano said he left Saturday's start. He experienced chest tightness and sore legs during the outing. He got hit by a comebacker in that start as well, so that explains why he came out after 5 short innings. Randy Rosarena has missed 2 straight with left hamstring soreness. Josh Naylor left Sunday after fouling a ball off his right shin. X-rays came back negative, so hopefully he's still in the lineup on Monday or Tuesday, whenever they play. The Cardinals promoted prospect Blaze Jordan on Friday. Incredible name, although not fast. Just want to get that out there. A loss for nominative determinative, because Blaze Jordan, kind of a big burly slugger type. 313 with 11 homers and a 921 OPS in 57 games at AAA. Hits the ball hard, does not strike out. Problem is he's just not optimized to get the most out of that power. He was a guy who put up really, really impressive like scouting exhibition performances back when he was a prospect. But
13-year-old, he was hitting supposedly 500 foot.
Was he out in LA or Las Vegas?
Runs.
I mean,
the video I always cite on YouTube was I think it's in Miami actually.
Okay, because we gotta put an asterisk on all those Bryce Harper high school home runs.
Yeah,
we know what Las Vegas is like.
No, you can find it on YouTube. 13-year-old hitting 500 foot home runs. I think if you just search for that, you'll find it.
They're probably like 420 feet.
Yeah, 500 is not something actual humans do, particularly not 13-year-old. Though very impressive power for a 13-year-old. He hasn't lived up to him in the minors. He's been a good hitter overall. It's just like you said, a lot of it's wasted on the ground. It was off to a good start. Started all 3 games this weekend. I think if you're in one of those corner infield leagues and lost Vinnie P, this is somebody you could look to. He wasn't a high priority ad for me in the 15-team roto leagues, but I threw a few dollars.
Yeah, you put a couple bucks on him as a backup. Yeah. He has played 2 games at third base as well, so could gain eligibility there pretty quickly. And then the Brewers are calling up Cooper Pratt. Remember, he was one of the guys around April. They signed him to a big extension. I think it was $55 million extension before he made his debut. 21 years old. He is a pretty good prospect, but not really a prospect fantasy players need to rush out and add, right?
I would agree. At defense is one of his strengths. He has been better over the last 28 games. Cooper Pratt is at 287 with 5 home runs, 8 steals, and an 879 OPS. But even that's with some pretty subpar exit velocities. So you look on his prospect savant page, which is like the minor league equivalent of baseball savant. There's a lot of blue on that.
Yeah.
Pull air rates bad on top of the exit velocities being bad. So I am not counting on Cooper Pratt being that useful in fantasy, but there's talent for sure. And if he made a leap, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing ever.
All right. Shane Bieber will make one more rehab start at AAA before rejoining the Blue Jays. He's 68% rostered. I don't really think it needs to be that much higher, but maybe I'm just being a pessimist. Tyler Glasnow is starting to feel better, may be able to resume playing catch soon. He last pitched on May 6th and has been out with a back injury. Nick Pivetta has progressed to throwing from 90 feet with some intensity. He's been out since mid-April with a right flexor strain. I would think both of them, best case scenario, all-star break or right around there. And that's an absolute best case scenario. I would guess a little later than that even.
For Pivetta especially.
Corey Seager missed all 3 games this weekend with rib and jaw soreness stemming from a collision at home plate on Thursday. On Sunday, it was reporting he's dealing with mild concussion symptoms as well. He has not been put on the concussion IL, but, seeing as he's already missed 3 games and the concussion IL 7 days, you would think he's probably going on this week. So you probably want to sit Corey Seager. Seiya Suzuki was scratched from the lineup Sunday with right knee discomfort. Roman Anthony continues to experience pain in his injured right hand when swinging, although he did say he is progressing in his recovery nonetheless. So, okay. Brent Rooker was placed on the IL with a bone bruise in his left knee, retroactive to Tuesday. Maybe that explains why he's been so bad this season. On the A's, Jacob Wilson was reinstated from his shoulder injury. Yainer Diaz could return as soon as Monday against the Tigers. He's been out with a left oblique strain. And I think at this point, he really only matters in a 2-catcher league, which is kind of stunning to say. Points was never his best format anyway, and now the position's so deep that I think he's just a fringe points league guy at best. You're in that like Alejandro Kirk range with Yainer Diaz.
I mean, I preferred Kirk in points leagues because the strikeout rate is so different. And also Diaz doesn't play as regularly when healthy, which there's a lot of catchers who play close to every day these days. That matters all the more in points leagues.
Kyle Teel could be activated by the White Sox in the next few days. His hamstring is fully healed and his right knee strain is close to fully recovered. He's only 30% rostered. A name to know in 2-catcher leagues as Kyle Teel.
I might prefer him to Yainer Diaz, honestly.
Possibly. I think Yainer Diaz might have a little more upside, but it's been a while since we've seen that from him.
If you're looking for anything but batting average,
yeah,
I would bet on Teal being better than Diaz the rest of the way.
Chris Bubic suffered a setback after beginning his rehab assignment last Tuesday, like Cole Reagan's. Kind of just anything I get from him as a bonus at this point, unfortunately.
Well, there was an update Sunday. No
Okay.
structural damage in his elbow or shoulder, and they let him start playing catch again Sunday, Chris Bubic. So he may he may be trending toward he may be back on a rehab assignment very soon.
All right. Seth Lugo was placed on the concussion IL Friday after taking a line drive off his head on Wednesday. Tommy Edman could return from the IL Tuesday. He's missed the first 2.5 months after having off-season ankle surgery. He's 13% rostered. What kind of leagues are you looking to add Tommy Edman in?
NL only.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't even stealing bases last year. That probably had something to do with coming back from ankle surgery, but he had ankle surgery again, right? Yeah. So, yeah, if he's not a base stealer anymore, even in the Dodgers lineup, I'm just not sure there's enough there.
All right. Trent Grisham was placed on the IL with a right hamstring strain. That means basically the entire Yankees outfield is hurt at this point. Giancarlo Stanton suffered a setback with his calf injury. And as a result of all that, Jason Dominguez was recalled. He started Saturday and Sunday. He homered on Saturday, 44% rostered. I'm looking for him in any 5 outfielder leagues. I don't know he's going to matter in 3 outfielder leagues yet, but any 5 outfielder leagues for Jason Dominguez for sure.
I've added him in 1 already.
All right, some others who went on the IL this weekend. Keaton Winn with a right elbow strain. Freddie Fermin with a concussion. Evan Carter with an oblique strain. Jack Flaherty with a calf strain. Miguel Andujar with a hamstring strain. Dalton Varsho with left wrist inflammation. And Adolis Garcia was moved directly to the 60-day IL with a torn right lat. That one sounds painful. And before we take a break, how did Tarik Skubal look in his return? Well, I think he looked like Tarik Skubal, basically. The results are not Tarik Skubal. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 9 whiffs on 80 pitches is pretty good for most people. Not great for Tarik Skubal. It was his first start back from elbow surgery that he had 5.5 weeks ago. I think we can give him a break for that. His velocity was up, and his return averaged 97.9 miles per hour with his 4-seamer. He did throw his slider more in this one, and the changeup and slider both got a lot of whiffs, 5 with the changeup, 3 with the slider. 5 hard hits allowed, 78 mile per hour average exit velocity. We talked about, Paul Skeens versus Christopher Sanchez as the top starting pitcher in fantasy. Like, it might just be Tarik Skubal again.
It's Jacob Misiorowski.
It could be Jacob. Yeah. In the discussion of those 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Skubal could climb to that. He could be back in that discussion in short order. It was a disappointing result in his first start back, but I see no cause for concern.
Nothing to be concerned about here with Tarik Skubal. I agree with that. If anything, the stuff looked even marginally better than it did. It's just he had surgery 5 weeks ago. That's the only real reason to be skeptical. It's just, can he stay healthy, which is true of every pitcher, but he's the most recent one to have an injury and come back from it. So that's the only concern here with Tarik Skubal, but you're back to starting him in every single league this week moving forward, and he is back in the top 5 starting pitchers at the very least. And with that, we are going to take one more break, then get to everything else you need to know from this weekend's action.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
I now know why Mommy was so stressed.
What's the plan here?
Landman. New season now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Today. I'm Chris Towers here with Scott White, and we've got a whole bunch more to talk about from this weekend. Let's talk about some waiver wire hitters. And Scott, the people want to know how much Cole Carrig went for in your leagues. Did you see? Scott looked at his, or Frank looked at his. Frank put the rundown together. He's producing behind the scenes. He's just not up to it today. $101 for Frank's Tout Wars team for Cole Carrig. That's a 15-team roto. That would be the most valuable one for him. A 15-team roto TGFBI, he went for 71. In Beat NFBC 12-team roto, it was 47 for Cole Carrig. He homered on Friday, went 2 for 4, 3 runs scored on Sunday. He's 6 for 23 overall, 2 homers. Haven't seen him run yet, but he's been productive. And I know you like Cole Carrig more than Braden Montgomery for fantasy, right?
I do. I think Braden Montgomery's strikeouts could pose an issue in a way I don't expect to be a problem for Carrig. I think Carrig is going to be an extra base machine in Coors Field. He already was in the minors, but obviously that park is the best setup for getting extra base hits, just because the outfield is so big. In addition to all the other things that Coors Field has working for, and yeah, the big disparity in stolen base potential between Carrig and Montgomery. Carrig was actually already rostered in my Tal Wars league. Somebody picked him up ahead of time. He went for 88.
Someone's reading the prospects report column.
There you go. True. He went for 88 in my TGFBI league. This is, of course, out of $1,000 budget.
Mine was 58 for him.
And in my main event league, he went for 108 to me. The runner-up was 72 for the runner-up.
And Montgomery, in every league I've seen, Montgomery was more expensive than Cole Carrig. You think that's wrong? Montgomery went 1 for 10 with 2 runs, 1 RBI this weekend. I think he's going to be good. It's just a question of how much the power, because he's going to have to depend on hitting for power to be productive and make enough contact. And I think there's some skills here with Braden Montgomery.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Basically, what I did in these leagues is I put in the same dollar bid on Carrig and Montgomery. I just prioritized Carrig over Montgomery. And since the bids generally came in lower on Carrig, I got Carrig in one league. I didn't get Montgomery in any of those 3 leagues we just talked about.
But you're adding them both in any 5 outfielder league?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not points leagues yet.
There were 3 players in those deep roto leagues. These are 15 teamers again that were head and shoulders above the rest in terms of waiver priority, and they were Cole Carrig, Braden Montgomery, and Elvis Alvarado, who maybe we'll talk about a little later. Maybe is he in the notes?
I would think so. Yeah. We're going to talk about some hitters first, though. AJ Ewing had a huge game on Sunday, 3 for 5 with a double and his second home run. He has a 720 OPS. He's hitting 267 in 31 games. He's got 7 steals. That's nice. That's a 35 or so steal pace. Problem is 31% strikeout rate. Where are you at on AJ Ewing, who has not been good against lefties? It's worth noting.
Yeah, definitely some growing pains here. I think the most concerning part is the 31% strikeout rate, because it's about twice as high as what he was doing in the minors. And he doesn't have enough batting average has to be a major part of Ewing's profile. And you're not going to hit for average if you're striking out 31% of the time. But I don't think he always will be striking out 31% of the time. It's just a matter of how quickly he's going to sort that out. And he's looked better in June with this 3-hit game. He's now batting .310 for the month. So hopefully he's trending the right direction. But he's fringy, I would say, in even in 5 outfielder leagues right now. If he was the only one you could drop for either Carrig or Montgomery, I'd probably do that, just because there's more heat on those 2 right now, if nothing else. But Ewing could still be better than them. It's possible.
All right, let's talk some catchers. Alejandro Kirk made his return on Friday. Would you rather have Alejandro Kirk or Keibert Ruiz? Kind of the same guy in a lot of ways. Kirk went 3 for 3 with 2 RBI in his return on Friday. He hit 282 last year with 15 homers. It was the best year of his career, but has not been as good this season. Missed a bunch of time with that injury. Keibert Ruiz has been hitting much better lately. He started 6 the past 8 games. He hit his 6th homer, went 3 for 4 this weekend with 2 RBI. He's hitting 282 with 6 homers and an 809 OPS. 54% rostered Alejandro Kirk, 47% for Keibert Ruiz. Who are you taking?
Probably Kirk.
Okay.
But Ruiz has definitely raised his stock.
He has added, I believe, 3 miles per hour to his average exit velocity this season.
Yeah, so he has. It's been about from last year it's about 3 for his career mark average exit velocity. It's almost 2 mile per hour increase. So it's brand new for Keibert Ruiz how hard he's hitting the ball. Also a 35% pull air rate, which is kind of like what Cal Raleigh was doing last year. It's as high as it gets. Obviously, I'm not saying Keibert Ruiz is Cal Raleigh, but he's maximizing what power he has by angling the ball optimally. And so we're seeing him be productive. Last 22 games for Keibert Ruiz, 368 batting average, 5 home runs.
What's weird is his expected stats are awful. As bad as they've ever been. I don't understand. His expected WOBA on contact is 285, which is one of the worst marks you'll see of any hitter. I don't quite understand because he is hitting the ball harder. Barrel rate is highest that it's been since 2023. And yet the expected stats are still miserable. I don't quite understand what's going on there. I think he's just kind of hot right now, and I'm not really all that excited about it, though.
Okay. I was going to say that even though a stat like XBA, XLUG, XWOBA, any of those expected stats, even though they're meant to kind of pull together all the other data points into one tell-all, looking too much at that at the expense of everything else is still like single factor analysis.
Sure, I agree.
I'm never in favor of single factor analysis. So I'm not saying there's no reason to have doubts about Keibert Ruiz. That's part of the reason why I prefer Alejandro Kirk. But I think Ruiz is somebody who needs to be rostered.
Two catcher leagues for sure.
Two catcher leagues for sure. If you got burned in a one catcher league because you went for Carter Jensen or whatever, I think it's fine if you're using Keibert Ruiz there right now too.
Sure. Would you prefer either of them to Dalton Rushing or Francisco Alvarez?
I would prefer, not definitively.
So the problem is Rushing obviously is the best one as long as Will Smith's out. We just don't. That could be 10 more days.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any updates since he went on the IL. But Rushing while he's out, while Will Smith is out, is going to be awesome. This is the top 12 catcher. It's just, is Will Smith going to miss 10 days? Is he going to miss a month? We have no idea right now.
They were splitting time pretty evenly even before Will Smith.
Yeah, it was pretty. But Rushing has not had, I think, more than 54 plate appearances in a month this season. Like, he's been much, much less than a full-time player, even though it's improved.
I think I would prioritize Kirk and Ruiz over Alvarez right now. Alvarez has the most upside between the three, but I don't know. I think if you're in a league where you really have that choice, you'll continue to have that choice after you finish with the hot hand thing.
All right, let's move on to some waiver wire pitchers. And Bubba Chandler has looked better recently. 5 2/3 innings in this one. Only one walk. That's the big stat there. 6 strikeouts, 13 whiffs on 84 pitches. The stuff is still really good. He got 8 whiffs with the slider in this one. 6 hard hits allowed through 67% of his pitches for strikes. The last, he's gone like 5 or 6 starts with 2 or fewer strikeouts, something like that, or 3 or fewer strikeouts. It's been much improved. Last 2 starts, especially, only 3 walks. I'm just saying, I'm not ready to start Bubba Chandler, certainly not this week at Colorado. So if you don't need to add him this week, I get it if you need a starting pitcher, but I still think Bubba Chandler, if he starts throwing strikes consistently, like he has been a little recently, is going to be very good. What do you think about Bubba Chandler?
I wonder, he threw way fewer fastballs in this one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more of a slider, his curveball, and he threw a lot more strikes. So I don't know specifically. I haven't looked into this, but I know it's been true for other pitchers who've had control problems. That is mostly the fastball's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's going on with Chandler too. So that's something to keep an eye on. But he does seem to be making strides here.
Yeah, it's 4 straight starts with 2 or fewer walks. Only 2 of those were actually good starts, so it's baby steps on the path to fantasy relevance here for Bubba Chandler. We've also got some other high-end guys. Tanner Bybee, 77% rostered at Houston this week. In his start against Detroit this weekend, he went 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 hits. He's throwing his sinker more, had 15 whiffs on 91 pitches. Cutter's been getting whiffs. He's been a little better lately. Still not particularly excited about Tanner Bybee, though.
Yeah, he's a tough one to figure out because he does things differently and it works. And you're like, well, that shouldn't work. I mean, throw more sinkers. I can point to the fact that he's had 2 great starts in a row throwing more sinkers, but that doesn't seem like it should
work. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's pretty fringy, but obviously usable at times.
All right. I think you can also say the same thing about Andrew Abbott, who's had some good starts recently. This was actually his first non-quality start, but he only allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings. It was his first non-quality start in his past 4. Has a 2.40 ERA since the start of May. Control has been bad with 21 walks in 45 innings. And he gets the Yankees in New York this week. I mean, it's probably not a terrible matchup without Judge, but it's not one you want to target, I still think, right?
Yeah, I think it's still a pretty good lineup without Judge, but it's not a terrifying lineup.
All right. Who would you rather have between Michael McGreevy, who just keeps getting away with it, 2 earned runs in 6 innings, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks? That's 3 straight quality starts for Michael McGreevy with 8 strikeouts to 4 walks in 18 innings. He has a 2.99 ERA and a 5.43 xERA, but he does get the Royals in Kansas City this week. Or would you rather have Stephen Kolek, who went 7 1/3 shutout, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk versus Houston on Sunday, 12 whiffs, 7 on the slider, doubled his slider usage. He's had 5 quality starts and 8 trips to the mound, 2.68 ERA, 34 strikeouts, 210 walks in 50 1/3 innings. Excellent control. Not sure what else Stephen Kolek does that makes this dependable, but he gets the Cardinals this week. It's not a great or a terrible matchup. Upcoming schedule is pretty good, though. At Tampa Bay versus Tampa Bay, at the Mets are his projected opponents through the All-Star break. Who would you rather have, Stephen Kolek or Michael McGreevy?
Michael McGreevy's a sleeper pitcher for this week.
I saw his 5th
at Kansas City. And so I don't think I'd treat either of these two as more than a streamer. So I guess I'm going to say McGreevy's the answer to your question. I do see a little more to bite into there with Kolek between the elite control, and he's also a good ground ball pitcher, about a 48% ground ball rate. So,
and the throwing the slider more in this start was interesting, just because that is his best whiff pitch. So
to the degree he gets whiffs, yeah. So I think Kolek might be a little better if we're just comparing skills to skills, but McGreevy seems like the better choice for this week.
All right. Any interest in these 4? Trevor Rogers starting to get better results. He had a quality start on Sunday against the Padres, 12 whiffs on 82 pitches, 6 on the fastball. It was his first quality start since April 7th. Remember, he opened the season really strong. 3.12 ERA, 1.15 whip in the month of June with 10 strikeouts and 17 1/3 innings. He's at the Dodgers this week, by the way. So not rushing out to add Trevor Rogers, despite better results of late. Griffin Jacks had a pretty good start against the Angels on Saturday. 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 unearned run, 5 strikeouts over 5 innings, 12 whiffs on 63 pitches. That's a great whiff rate. Problem is he's just not throwing many pitches. He has not gone more than 5 innings in any start. I don't know if this is we're babying him until we unleash him, or is it we're just babying him? And that's the thing that's tough with the Rays. Who would you rather have, Trevor Rogers or Griffin Jacks?
Yeah, the Rays like to baby pitchers. They like to baby them. Rockabye baby. I will say that I would prefer to have neither.
I'd rather have Jacks.
Probably
Jacks.
Jacks.
I have to have one. Yeah.
Probably Jacks. I mean, you already pointed it out, 10 strikeouts and 17 1/3 innings during these 3 good starts for Trevor Rogers. I mean, he's not going to that doesn't, to me, signal that he's figured anything out. He's just happened to get better results. So if it's just I'm going to plant this guy on my bench and see if it turns into something, I could see going Rogers there. But even then, like, there's justification for doing Jacks over him. So probably Jacks either way.
Yeah, if they start letting Jacks throw like 85 pitches and he can hold up, I think it could be really good. Walker Buehler had another solid outing. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 straight starts, only 3 earned runs total in 3 June starts, 15 strikeouts to 4 walks and 15 2/3 innings after he went 5 1-earned innings on Sunday with 5 strikeouts. He's at Texas this week. That's not a terrible matchup. It's the Dodgers after that. I don't really have any interest in Walker Buehler.
Nope.
All right. Do you have any interest in Sean Manaea, who had a good start against the Braves on Saturday? 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts, 13 whiffs on 84 pitches. 8 of them came on that sweeper. His velo was up about 1.5 miles per hour across the board. Used his sweeper more in this one, and it was great. 8 whiffs, 38% whiff rate. Threw 70% of his pitches for strikes. Scott, I know you liked Sean Manaea a lot coming into last season. He had the elbow issues, never really got right. But in the month of June, 3 ERA, 0.73 whip, 8 Ks per 9, 1.2 walks per 9, 2 bulk outings, and 1 start. They're basically using him as a starter no matter what. Any interest in Sean Manaea here? He's 21% rostered as a Sparp.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of interest. I liked him going into
you might.
last year. I liked him going into this spring too, and then his velocity was just way down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's encouraging that everything was up in this start, and he got a good result. Obviously, he's been getting good results. Last 4 appearances have all been good. This one was the longest, 6 innings, so there's been a build-up there for Manaea. But 4 straight that are good with more than a K per inning across those 4. I'm not saying he's a priority out off the waiver wire, but he's somebody I was throwing $0 bids at as I was stacking up bids in my leagues and anticipating that my high dollar bids, I'd lose out on them.
All right, Sandy Alcantara had a quality start, 3 earned runs over 8 innings. That's 3 straight quality starts where he's gone at least 7 innings. Been a very up and down season for Sandy Alcantara. Is he someone you're just sticking in your starting lineup moving forward?
It depends on the league. I don't think I would rather not be in the situation where I have to do that. I would rather
at Philadelphia this week. Start him.
Choosier. That's probably going to be a yes, especially with his last 2 outings being so good.
All right, we had another subpar outing from Nolan McLean versus Atlanta this weekend. 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 walks. Control's been bad lately. 6 strikeouts, 9 whiffs. Struggle with the location. 5 of his 6 pitches had a zone percentage of 40% or lower. Kind of feel like that's been the issue. His guys just aren't chasing, and it's caused his walk rate to spike.
Yep.
Nolan McLean up to a 4.01 ERA, 1.14 whip. Peripherals are still better than the ERA. 10.4 K per 9, but that walk rate's up to 3.7 per 9. Swinging strike rate's down, and the last 5 starts have been especially ugly. 6.38 ERA, 154 whip. He is 69% started at Cincinnati this week. Is Nolan McLean definitely a start this week?
No, not definitely. I will note that in all, he's only had 2 starts that were bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they were back-to-back, and they were a few turns ago at this point. The walks have remained an issue. They were an issue in this start, even though, he allowed just 2 runs in 4 innings. Obviously, all the walks made it only 4 innings. The control is clearly off here. As you said, I think it's just hitters laying off the secondary pitches. I mean, that's something that's been written about. So an adjustment needs to be made here for Nolan McLean. I think the Reds lineup without Elly De La Cruz is pretty good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It is in Cincinnati, as you say, but it's not like, let me confirm this. Yeah, it's not like home runs are the issue for McLean.
Oh, no. His ground ball rate's down, but it's still like 50%.
Yeah, and it's very weak contact. I think he probably needs to be started in most leagues still, but this is not a must.
Are we getting to the point of dropping Ryan Weathers, who went only 4 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs in this one? He gave up 5 hard hits. He has a 4.36 ERA. He's given up a ton of home runs lately. Last 5 starts, 6.44 ERA, 1.26 whip. Swinging strike rate's down. And this is one that even when the ERA was really good, it was like a 4.25 xERA because he was getting hit so hard. And now the ERA reflects it. And now I'm starting to think Ryan Weathers is definitely moving to the bullpen when Max Fried is ready, because they've got to figure out a way to limit his innings anyway. He has not thrown 100 innings, I think, since 2023. So I'm not dropping Ryan Weathers, but it's not unthinkable.
It's not unthinkable. And Will Warren's been pretty.
Oh yeah, it's been shaky lately too.
Been pretty bad lately too.
But he's got the innings. Like he got over 100 last year.
Yeah. I think you can think about dropping Weathers. Yes. Who are you dropping him for? The kind of pitchers I'd be willing.
Kind of in a fallow period right now, unless you have Reed Detmers is like 18% available. There's another.
Yeah. Weathers is not somebody you're dropping for Sean Manaea, for instance.
But like if Dustin May were available, I might consider that.
He's the top sleeper pitcher for this week. So I could see, and he's been good for a while. So I could see doing that. Yeah.
JT Ginn, I think I might do that.
He's also one of the top sleeper pitchers, both 2-start options for this week. They weren't going into the weekend, but now they are. So I think those are fine.
Trey Savage has been struggling a little bit lately over his past, 4 starts, 22.1 innings, 6.85 ERA. He gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings against the Yankees. Still got 8 whiffs on 81 pitches. Only 1 on the splitter. That's not going to work for Trey Savage. If the splitter's not working, he's not going to be good. He only threw 52% of his pitches for strikes. He's been struggling with his locations. He's at Boston this week. You're starting him?
Probably not. The control's the main thing. 15 walks in his last 3 starts. So 15 walks and 15 2/3 innings. The 6-walk start here, there was a 7-walk start. So, 2 starts where the control was just
non-existent.
Yeah. His overall whiff rate on the splitter is still very good, even though he didn't get many whiffs in this one. Still 160 batting average against. He still throws it a lot. I think there's still a lot to like here for you, Savage. I'm going to give him more runway, but even with that favorable matchup against the Red Sox, I'd probably steer away from him.
All right, Roki Sasaki gets the Orioles this week. He is 47% started. He gave up 7 earned runs over 4 1/3 innings against the White Sox. Still got a decent number of whiffs. The splitter especially, 7 whiffs, but he struggled to command the splitter and the slider. And that's always, anytime command is one of the main things going right or wrong with a player, that's where I'm always like, yeah, that could just change tomorrow though. And so that's the concern with any pitcher. I mean, I think that was the Trevor Rogers thing last year. Is just command was way better, and it hasn't been as good, and the stuff hasn't really changed, but the execution has. And I'm not giving up on Roki Sasaki. I'm not particularly worried about one bad start. I think he has earned the benefit of the doubt with his pitching lately, but we don't have a long track record here, so it's just something to note with Roki Sasaki. Any thoughts?
Yeah, he said his off-speed stuff was terrible in this start. I mean, mainly it was the, which was it? The slider, I think. Just didn't get.
Yeah, only 1 whiff, wasn't throwing it in the zone at all. Just didn't seem to have the feel for it.
And, he gets a pass for now. It's frustrating because he just had the start that it's time. Like the start that won me over. We're in on Sasaki, and then he follows it up with his stinker. But you're not going to abandon, with the kind of upside he was showing, you're not going to abandon him after one outing like this. Doesn't mean you have to start him. But you'd hold on. He gets
Baltimore this week. They've been very good against righties, so not a bad idea to sit Roki Sasaki this week. Connolly Early's a tough one this week. He's at Seattle, 29th in WOBA versus left-handed pitchers. He's just been awful lately. 7.36 ERA, 198 whip in 3 starts in the month of June. Allowing 5 home runs. Walk rate has been way up. He got hit hard, 6 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings in a very good matchup against Texas. Can you start Connolly Early in a very good matchup against Seattle this week?
I don't think so. We're probably verging on dropping him too. I don't know that he needs to be in that different of a category from Weathers, and that I'd rather not drop them. But I get it if you're short on space. So early entered this start with a 3.30 ERA, but that's to
Peripherals
go.
have been
4.56 expected ERA coming in and 4.75 FIP, and just like the swinging strike rate is in the toilet after being so impressive last year. In the end, he is a player who I think maybe the very guarded prospect rankings, maybe they had it right. It was one of those, they clearly
the numbers were so
underestimated
incredible.
this guy. Yeah. But I don't know. He's come back down to earth this year, Connolly early, pretty hard.
All right, some starting pitchers who might be starting to come back down to earth, although in a lot of these cases, it's like one bad start. So we'll see. Emerson Hancock, though, we've talked a little bit about some concerning signs for Emerson Hancock lately. Gave up 6 earned runs in 4 innings against Washington on Sunday. 2 strikeouts, 0 walks in that one. 3 whiffs through his 2 fastballs 76% of the time. This is his first start with more than 2 earned runs allowed since May 8th, so I don't want to overreact too much. But it's just 23 strikeouts to 27 innings in that span. We've talked a lot about the declining strikeout rate here. I think Emerson Hancock remains a very obvious sell high candidate. He's one of the biggest xERA overperformers in baseball. Would you rather have Emerson Hancock or Reed Detmers rest of the season?
I kind of want to say Reed Detmers.
I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah. So part of it, I think, is pitch selection for Hancock. He certainly in his last 2 starts, his sweeper and his cutter, which are his best 2 pitches, he's thrown them a lot less and leaned into that sinker more, pitch to contact approach, which is going to lead to less
did not work
strikeouts
for him in the past.
Yeah. So I don't know why he's made that adjustment. Could he adjust back and look a lot better all of a sudden? I think that's possible. So I'm not quite as out on Emerson as Early or Weathers, to the extent I'm out on them, which isn't completely out. But, I can't imagine dropping Hancock in a league.
No, but I would still be trying very hard to trade him.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
We might have missed the window on Will Warren, who only struck out 3 walks over 4 innings. He just was not efficient at all. That's 2 starts in a row of 4 1/3 innings or less.
Not efficient and not missing bats.
Yeah.
That's a bad combination. 6 K per 9 exactly in his last 5 starts.
Yeah. So do you have a good sense of what's going on with Will Warren? Why it's going wrong like that?
I mean, even when he was getting strikeouts, he wasn't getting whiffs.
He's not a big bat misser. Never has been.
So I think part of it is just a regression to the mean. I think he's pretty mid.
I agree.
That's my without getting too much into the nitty gritty. That's my take on Will Warren.
Yeah, the reason I said I think Ryan Weathers goes to the bullpen for the Yankees is just the innings concerns for him, right? He Will Warren threw 161 innings. They don't have to limit his innings. I do think Ryan Weathers potentially could play up in the bullpen in a way that I'm not sure Will Warren would.
I mean, they could do what the Mariners did for a while with Castillo and Miller and piggyback those two. That would make a lot of sense. Will Warren's giving them 4 innings at a time anyway.
Unless, they don't want to do that, which
unless they don't want to do that.
And what's happening with the Pirates. Are we just dropping Taj Bradley? He was so good early on, but he gave up 4 earned runs in 6 2/3 innings on Sunday. He actually still got 7 strikeouts, but 95 mile per hour average exit velocity on 19 batted balls is really bad. 6.57 ERA, 13 walks and 24 2/3 innings since coming off the IL. Taj Bradley is 85% rostered. Are we just dropping him?
He doesn't need to be 85% rostered. It's probably okay to drop him, but it's closer, I think, to the Emerson situation in that I'm not sure this is just pure regression as much as, well, why just stop throwing your splitter? Because that was your best pitch. And he's thrown it like half as often since returning from the pectoral injury, and the results have been terrible.
You always wonder when that happens, is there some physical reason why he's throwing the splitter less?
Yep.
Has his arm angle dropped, or it's just not to feel as comfortable throwing it? That's entirely possible. But we have such a limited track record there that I think 85% rostered. Too high. And then Look, call me the boy who cried wolf. I don't care. I think Bryce Elder, it's starting. He gave up 6 earned runs in 4 innings on Sunday. 5 whiffs on 75 pitches. He only threw a slider 16% of the time, compared to right around 30% for the season. Slider did get hit hard in this one. So did the cutter. That's the second poor start in his past 4 for Elder. He did have 2 quality starts in between the 2 poor ones, but that has pushed his ERA from 1.97 to 3.15. You would obviously still take a 3.15 ERA the rest of the season from Bryce Elder, but you know, the track record here does not support him pitching at this level. The peripherals have not really improved all that much. It's been mostly improvement in the quality of contact Bryce Elder's giving up. I still think this is a sell high player if you have the chance.
Yeah, I think Elder's in the same bucket as Hancock, where I'm not at the point where I'd consider dropping him, but he is an obvious sell high. What I've noticed, the two really bad starts from him, he didn't have the slider. He either didn't have it or wasn't using it because he didn't have it, or wasn't using it for other reasons. The usage was low. The usage was low on both of them. It was only about 15% when that pitch he tends to throw more like 30%. And that's his best pitch. And there's not much there without it, I think is pretty clear. So if there are reasons why he has stopped throwing it so much, then that's going to be a problem for him. But if it's just a decision, or if it's something he can regain, then I think there's still hope for Elder. But overall, definitely a sell high.
Is Emmett Sheehan a buy low? I can't quite make sense of him. He's just weird. He went 5 innings, 3 earned runs, not a great start. 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. His velocity continues to look better. Was up 0.5 to 1.1 mile per hour across the board. 5 miles per hour up on his curveball. Had a totally different movement profile. Do not know what to make sense of that. It was a small sample size, so it's just something to watch there. But 14 whiffs on 85 pitches, at least 4 on the fastball, slider, and changeup. Just 2 starts with more than 3 strikeouts in his past 5 is very weird, though. 4.76 ERA for the season. No worse or no better than a 3.91 ERA in all 3 months so far. But I still think there's upside here. I was reading, Sarah's his most recent pitching rankings update noted that Emmett Sheehan has been, I think, the biggest or the second biggest improver in the stuff plus metric from the first month to the last month of the season. So I want to be in on Emmett Sheehan. I want to say buy low, but man, it continues to just be a weird season for him.
I mean, he's got a 15% swinging strike rate. There's definitely upside when you got a 15% swinging strike rate. It's hard to be bad with a 15% swinging strike rate.
He's doing it.
Particularly when it's not like he has control problems. 2.4 walks per 9 on the season. I think part of the problem is he's just allowed more home runs than the other numbers say he should have.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why his ERA is so much higher than the expected ERA.
I will say
higher than the FIP.
When you're only going, he's averaging fewer than 5 innings per start right now. When you're only going 5 innings, your margin for error is a lot slimmer, though.
Yeah.
That's like the difference between a good start and a bad start when you're going 5 innings is 2 runs versus 3, right?
Sure.
So it's like it could just be as simple as there's just going to be some inherent volatility when you only pitch 5 innings per start.
I think I would come closer to saying Emmett Sheehan is a buy low than like a drop or a sell high. Like
would you rather have
I
Sheehan?
think he's good. He just hasn't put it all together yet. I have him 45th rest of season among starting pitchers.
Sheehan or any of Hancock, Warren, Bradley, or Elder?
Say those names again. Sorry.
The 4 we just talked about: Emerson Hancock, Will Warren, Taj Bradley, or Bryce Elder. Who would you rather?
Sheehan's the one I ranked first by a lot.
I agree with that. All right, hitters picking things up. Jackson Churio looks like he has completely leveled up. He went 4 for 5 with a home run, with 2 home runs on Saturday. Homered again on Sunday. He's got 7 homers in 13 June games. His average exit velocity is up 3 miles per hour. He's traded a little bit of contact for a lot of improvement in quality of contact. I think we might be seeing what it looks like when Jackson Churio levels up. Pete Alonso starting to look like himself. 5 homers in the month of June in 13 games. He's up to 16 homers on the season. His numbers are going to get there at the end. Maybe it's 38 homers instead of 45 or whatever, but Pete Alonso is going to get there. Kazuma Okamoto, nice weekend. Homers on Friday and Saturday. One of them was to the 500 section. I don't know if you saw this bomb down the left field line, but hit it all the way up there in Toronto. 333 with 3 homers, 945 OPS in the month of June. Still striking out 33% of the time. Can't quite fix that. And then Geraldo Perdomo went 2 for 3 with a sock and a shoe on Sunday. He is hitting 333 with 3 steals and a homer in the month of June. So hopefully this is a sign of Geraldo Perdomo starting to figure it out. Some other hitting leftovers. James Wood, another monster weekend. He had 6 hits, 2 home runs, and a steal this weekend. Bo Bichette, huge game on Friday, went 2 for 3 with a double dong, 6 RBI, multiple hits each game this weekend. I think he's got 6 multiple hit games in his last 10 games, so that's good to see for Bo Bichette. Yordan Alvarez continues to be amazing, 3 for 5 with 2 homers on Friday, had 3 hits on Saturday as well. Byron Buxton, just ridiculously hot, 11 hits, 4 homers over his past 6 games. He's up to 22 homers on the season now. Ivan Herrera had 2 homers on Saturday, also added 2 steals this weekend, 9 homers, 4 steals. His OBP is 400 for the season. Center Rafaela, 3 for 5 with a sock and a shoe on Friday, 2 more hits on Saturday. He's hitting 304 with 3 homers and 4 steals over the past 16 games. Good to see him starting to figure out. Some pitching leftovers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto took a no-hitter into the 9th inning. That's the second time he's done that. I believe there was a perfect game up until the 8th, and then there was a Mookie Betts error, I want to say, that ended the perfect game. Then they got a hit in the 9th, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto, it's been a little shaky overall, or I guess it was. Now he's down to a 2.52 ERA, 1.01 ERA over his past 5 starts. And then Logan Webb's just back, 8 innings, 7 hits, 0 earned runs. He has gone at least 7 innings in 3 starts in June with 18 strikeouts to 1 walk, 1 earned run allowed over those 3 starts. And I think we're seeing a level up from Bryce Miller, like we are with Jackson Chourio. He went 8 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, 7 strikeouts. Velocity remains up. He's getting whiffs on multiple pitches now. I think this is the best version of Bryce Miller we've seen. And I know he was a top 10 pitcher in 2024. I don't think we expected him to repeat that, but with the improvement in the stuff, the command remains excellent. He's getting a career high whiff rate. I think Bryce Miller's legit. I think he might be a top 25 starting pitcher.
Sorry, I was laughing at a comment that had nothing to do with Bryce Miller. Yeah, I agree. Bryce Miller, I would be thrilled if I picked him up. And right now, got to treat him as a must start. He's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's gone 6 innings in back-to-back outings. Love that they've moved away from that piggyback situation because that was very frustrating. And love that he's remained very good despite going deeper into games. Another strong start from Sonny Gray. He's just been weird this season, but 2.29 ERA, 8.7 K per 9, 10.7% swinging strike rate in 7 starts since he came off the IL. I think he's solid. That's about it. I don't think he's much more than solid. Mike Soroka, another strong outing. This one at Cincinnati, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, 0 walks. He's down to a 3.11 ERA, right around a strikeout per inning. Quality of contact starting to get a little better, 3.82 xERA. That's probably closer to what I expect for Mike Soroka the rest of the way, but it's not bad, right?
Yeah, he's another sell high, but I think he's legitimately earned a place on your roster.
All right. A couple other pitching leftovers. Paul Skeens had 10 strikeouts. That is the second time in his past 3 starts since he had that weird 2 strikeout outing. He's no worse than the 3rd or 4th best starting pitcher, probably 3rd, with Tarik Skubal back. Cam Sutler struggled a little bit with control, but the velocity was back in this one, which is good to see because there had been a little bit of shakiness there. Kevin Gausman was great. It was 15 whiffs on the splitter en route to 7 strikeouts over 7 innings against the Yankees. That's phenomenal. Max Meyer was great on Sunday against the Pirates. 1 earned run over 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 14 whiffs across the sweeper and the slider, which he threw 63% of the time. It's kind of like Ryan Nelson. You know, you give me 60% sweepers and sliders for Max Meyer, I think he's going to be pretty good. That seems to be where we're at. And then what do we make of we'll call him Isle Harrison today because no Ks. Only 3 strikeouts for Kyle Harrison against Philadelphia on Sunday. 6 innings, no earned runs, nothing to complain about there, but only 3 strikeouts, 9 whiffs on 80 pitches, not too concerning. Velocity was down about a mile per hour, a lot of weak contact. I think we throw out the Vegas start, right? That was nothing.
Yeah.
Just a weird, bad start for Kyle Harrison, nothing to be concerned about, right?
I think so. He did have another start like this a couple turns ago. Let's see. Yeah, 2 strikeouts and 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals on May 26th. But then in between, he had a 12 strikeout effort. Yeah. So it concerns you a little because
like a track record.
His arsenal hasn't really changed. There have been some changes in the margins that have allowed him to explode the way he has this year. But in terms of like pitch selection, it's not any deeper. It's not any different from what it was really with his previous stops where he wasn't getting many strikeouts. So you just wonder if the league's going to catch up to it at some point. But I'm not going to declare that if we're just throwing out the Las Vegas start, then 2 turns ago he had 12 strikeouts. So
all right.
Yeah.
That's the call to the bullpen. The Twins, Yoendris Gomez started the 8th with the game tied on Friday. Only recorded 1 out, gave up a run on 3 hits. The Twins retook the lead, and Andrew Morris got the 9th and picked up his 2nd save. Then on Sunday, the Twins took a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. Gomez got the 9th, struck out 1 for his 6th save. He has 4 of the past 6 saves. Since he got to the Twins, it's a 1.65 ERA, 20 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 6 and 1/3 innings. Yoendris Gomez, just the closer in Minnesota.
And it's looking that way. I didn't realize his numbers had improved that much with the Twins, but yeah, they are. This is as solid as anyone's been. And this is as solid of the 9th inning choices they've had all year.
All right. On the Athletics side, I know you wanted to talk about this one. Friday, Hogan Harris got the final 4 outs for his 6th save. Then on Saturday, Elvis Alvarado got the 9th with a 2-run lead, struck out 2 for his 2nd save. You think Elvis Alvarado is just going to run away with this one?
I think so. He hit, since coming back from the minors, he has been unbelievable. He's hit 103 with his fastball. He got the save on Wednesday as well. So I know Hogan Harris, which day did Hogan Harris get it? Friday.
But it was a 4-out save, so that's always a little weird.
Yeah, and I don't know that Alvarado was available in that game because I think he had worked both Wednesday and Thursday, I want to say. But anyway, then he came back and got the save on Saturday. So after that Wednesday save, Mark Kotze said, "This is the best I've seen Elvis throw the ball, not only just at 100 miles per hour, but commanding the baseball. The slider's got depth. The confidence is there. He's getting, like I said, gotten a lot of strikeouts for the little bit of time he's been back from the IL. And I think things are trending toward him being the A's closer. He was somebody that beat writers kept citing as a closer candidate ever since they traded Mason Miller. And so, and he hadn't gotten that chance, but it may be happening now. To give the exact number, 11 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings since returning from the minors, with only 1 base runner allowed.
It's pretty good. Moving on to Pittsburgh, Gregory Soto got the 9th with a 1-run lead, allowed a hit, but did pick up his 10th save on Saturday. He's been a little shaky lately, but I still think that's his job for now. Tony Santillan pitched the 9th inning for his 3rd save on Saturday. He's been bad, but they don't really have anybody else right now. But Emilio Pagan is starting to ramp things up. Will face hitters for the first time on Friday, so we could be a couple weeks back away from Emilio Pagan being back. On Saturday, Alex Lang entered with 1 out in the 8th with the game tied, got the final 2 outs, stayed in for the 9th with the game still tied, gave up a run on a walk and a hit, took his 4 losses. Last 2 appearances have been losses for Alex Lang. Where do you think we are with this bullpen?
I mean, it's probably still Lang, but he's not a trustworthy option.
No, I don't know. Good, yeah.
I don't know if maybe we underplayed that aspect of it, because who is trustworthy in that bullpen?
Well, that's the problem. It's a bunch of mediocre options. And then their 2 best are probably lefties, which is always weird.
Yeah. Just, don't keep Lynch and Strom in your sights, I would say.
All right. And then on the White Sox side, Grant Taylor was using the 7th and 8th innings with a 5-run lead in a bullpen game on Sunday. Then they went to Sir Anthony Dominguez for the 9th with a 3-run lead. He allowed a run and a hit on 2 walks and picked up his 12th save. I don't think they're just handing it over to Grant Taylor yet, but he's clearly the best pitcher in this bullpen. I think it's going to be him at some point, whether it's this week, whether it's by August, whatever it is. And I think you're going to get great ratios and strikeouts from Grant Taylor. So I think any roto league, he should just be rostered and hope you pick up, a save or 2 every couple of weeks until he becomes the guy. But I think he will be. And I think you'll get over under 12.5 saves the rest of the way for Taylor. I'll take the over.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to stream or not to stream on Monday. We got Dustin May. He probably will not qualify once waivers run on Sunday, but he does now. And he gets the Padres. He gets Padres and Royals this week, right?
Yes, sir.
Just phenomenal 2-start week. You got Troy Melton at the Astros. Results have been good. Process not so much. Robert Arena at the Diamondbacks. JT Ginn versus Pittsburgh. It's actually a pretty good day for streamers. If May counts, May is the top one. If not, JT Ginn. And I like Arena a decent amount. Melton actually less so.
Yep. I agree.
All right. And then Tuesday, Tyler Phillips has been pretty interesting. He gets the Phillies. They've been bad against righties. Christian Scott at Cincinnati. Robert Gasser versus Cleveland with no Jose Ramirez. That could be a very good matchup moving forward. Andre Palante versus the Padres. Edward Cabrera versus the Rockies away from Coors Field. I said it last week. I will start Edward Cabrera against the Rockies away from Coors Field. I like Monday more than Tuesday, though.
Yeah, but I like Palante against the Padres.
That's okay, yeah.
I like Brandon Young at Seattle.
That's okay. All right. We're going to wrap there. For Scott, I am Chris. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure you follow, leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, and we'll be back in tomorrow. Bye-bye.